continuing our series, Heroes. Last week for me was amazing. The word that was on the bone last week was just was wonderful. People have been talking about it all week long on Facebook and Twitter, if you do that. So it's been a great word, and then those that missed and then they've watched it on the video was just, there's been so much talk about it. So there's a great word, and if you didn't get to see it last week, it's available on our website. So I'm going to try to get close to what he brought last week, but probably not going to happen because he's awesome, right? Right?
Right.
I want to start off by asking, we're talking about heroes, but I wanted to ask about superheroes. Just kind of start us off here. Do you guys have favorite superheroes?
Batman!
Yep.
Anybody else Batman?
Yeah!
Yeah? Superman? Any Superman? Raise your hand. Superman?
His tights look funny.
His tights look funny. Let's see, who else we got? Spider-Man? You got any Spider-Man? Got Spider-Man over here. What about, when's the Wonder Woman movie gonna come out? You got any Wonder Woman?
Tommy is.
Tommy, what
He
is
had to
Tommy?
step out for a minute, but yeah, he
He a
loves
Wonder Woman fan?
Yeah, he's a Wonder Woman.
Maybe he and I can get together when the movie comes out.
Xena.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Some of the other guys, Iron Man, got any Iron Man? Or the Green Lantern?
Yeah.
Yeah? Who said that? Yeah, Green Lantern fan? Cool. And I don't know anymore. Thor? Captain America?
Oh, you missed
Huh?
Do I not remind you of Luke Greenville?
Yes, you did. The Incredible Hulk. Got any Hulk fans in here? Yeah. He's pretty awesome.
Omnibus.
How many of you have seen? How many of you have seen the new Batman, The Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah!
How many of you are planning to go see it? Well, you kind of messed me up. Because I was gonna tell you all about it today.
Oh, no, don't go.
I'll tell you.
Don't tell us what happened.
I'll just share the end. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't do that. But it's a really good Batman. My favorite so far. So did Batman win in this setting? Batman's our greatest hero,
Yep.
superhero,
Because he can actually exist.
because he can actually exist.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Superman's real.
No.
Superman's not real. Okay. Well, as I was preparing for this, and I was thinking, I've had several heroes in my life. Never really looked at them as heroes, per se, until we started the series. And I was like, people have really made a big change, a big difference in my life. And, those are heroes. It's people that stepped in and really made a difference. And just, and I have so many. And it's going to take me about an hour to talk about all of them. So I'm not going to talk about all of them. I'm going to talk about three that really just have impacted my life the most. We all have those heroes in our life that, in a time where we've been desperate or in a time of need, and there's so many ways you can look at it. Is it a financial thing? Is it you're just down in a hole and somebody comes along and helps bring you back out, offers you their hand and kind of pulls you back out of that hole, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's been at a time of loss and somebody just really comes in and just regenerates your life or whatever. I'm sorry, but I wasn't prepared to use big words today, so I can't think of any. But I'll do my best. For me, as I was thinking about this, of course I had to say my mom, because she just was the hero my whole life. She was, a lot of you guys remember her as, just a sweet, compassionate woman, but she had some fight. And she had some too. She did. And it was when it came to her children that you saw that the most. And you never crossed her kids, you never spoke bad of them, you never done anything that was negative to their children, or she would let you know that she didn't like that. And that she would take you out back. Just the kind of woman she was, but she was sweet too. But for me, she was just a hero in my life, of an example, and so many times, if you've grown up in a home where there's been divorce or separation or stuff like that, you may know what I mean. My mom just really, for her to do it all is just amazing. And, just to be a hero that way to me, to be everything I needed as a child growing up, that was, she's just a real hero in my life. My dad, he's a hero to me. You guys all hear me call him my dad. He is my dad. He's actually my stepfather, but I don't say that because he is my dad. For a man to step into a ready-made family with 2 more kids and just say, yeah, I want to be a father, I want to be a dad, and I want to step in and I want to do what's right. In a time where I was 9, 10, a boy needs his father at that age because he's fixing to go through a change. And for a man to step in and step up and be a hero in a child's life at that time was, just pretty amazing to me. And he's been my hero ever since. And then we have my wife that I wanted to, she's a hero. You guys know her a lot like, I was saying about my mom. You think she's sweet and compassionate. And she's not in here, so I make sure I say the stuff right, so when you go repeat it, she'll know. But she is so much like my mom and a hero. Personally to me, she was a friend that was just a friend. And that's how it all started. When I was probably, none of you would have enjoyed me at all because I was a horrible person. So she came in and was just a friend when no one else could be my friend. Mostly because I ran them all off. But also, I see her as a hero in the eyes of my children. I know you guys think she doesn't ever get angry. But there was an episode 3 years ago maybe, where she was at a pool and had the kids there. And this, I don't remember all the details of it, but this woman said, you guys can't be in the pool because you have the wrong colored key thing or something. And I think school was fixing to start back. I'm not exactly sure. So it's like the last time that they were going to go to the pool. And the woman got ugly to her, got ugly to the kids. And you just don't do that. And what I was told about some of the words that come out of her mouth and what she said to this woman, Kristen's like, 100 pounds, 5'4", not very intimidating. But I heard she was that day. And she was a hero in the eyes of my children that day. And they stayed at the pool, I believe. And I think that woman left and went to the office to tell on her or whatever. But we have so many heroes, in our lives that have always come along. In Scripture, my favorite, and it's because it relates to my life, people are going to get up here, Tony's going to have different stories about heroes in the Bible, and I wanted to pick one that is a hero in reference how it relates to my life. And it may be unexpected, but mine's found in the book of Luke, chapter 11. And it's the father of the prodigal son, the lost son. Just in these verses, from verse 11 through 30, 31, just the story of this father and who he is, because these verses don't take you through one thing in my eyes when I read it. It takes you through a couple of different things, because there's two children involved, for one, and he responds to both of them in my eyes as a hero. And it just really, this story has always spoke to me. And, you know, I've heard pastors say before, some pastors that, you know, I really look up to, you know, you can take verse 11 through 30, it is 31, 32, 33, 32. Verse 11 through 32, and there's 100 different sermons in these set of verses. And I've probably heard that many. So it's a great parable. Has always spoke to me. But here's why. In verse 21, most of us know the story. The son wanted his inheritance and everything that belonged to him, and he, you know, basically demanded it and said, "I'm out of here." So the father gave him everything that was right to him and said, "All right, take off." And so he took off, and then he basically wasted it all, right? On things that, you know, he shouldn't have. And, you know, he basically digs himself in a pit, in a hole, and feels so bad. You know, does it say how long? I don't think it does, but however long it took him to squander all this inheritance away, he realizes, you know, the servants have it better than I do, so I want to go back. And he's ready just to go back and live as a servant. But when he shows up, that's not what happened. And in verse 21, he tells his father that you know, he's not worthy. But in verse 22, the father's response to that is completely different than what the boy or the young man expected. And that's, you know, nothing changed because of what you did, what you've been doing, while you've been gone. You're still my son. And I'm still going to give the best to you and offer the best to you. And we know he clothed him, put a ring on his finger, you know, and they celebrated and had this wonderful celebration time because the son that was dead is now alive and he's back home again. And so they celebrated. And in this story, I look at those couple of verses there. And this story always, it's like it's the one that God always, you know, hits me in the head with, you know, because I have 5 kids. So I get hit in the head a lot. But it's to say the right thing, to always be that hero in the eyes of your children is a tough job. Does anyone agree? Mm-hmm. Any parents agree? Mm-hmm. Any of the younger guys in here that didn't have children yet, you know, your parents don't always say it the right way, do they? No? They're not responding, I guess. They're not looking at you. Go ahead. You can raise your hand. Y'all keep looking this way. But it's tough. And I just, you know, there's so many different scenarios that the father could have, you know, things he could have said in this lesson here. You know, he could have responded, you know, "You're right. You're not worthy. You took everything that I gave you and, you know, done away with it, and you know, that's just wrong. You shouldn't have ever done that." how would the son have reacted to that? Would there have been a celebration because he was home? There could have been the response of, he could have not called him his son. He could have put him to work with the servants. And then the son could have grew up, went on living and feeling like, he lost his place and his right as a son and who he was in the family. So many different things. And that's why I just see a hero in this father in the story of how he responded here. And I think as parents, we could all read the story on a daily basis, and it may help us, to respond the right way, to say the right things, with this fresh on our minds all the time. For me, of just what a hero this is, what this father is. But as we skip on down to verses 28 and 30, we know the other brother gets angry. The other brother. He's mad. Because what's he been doing the whole time? He's been right by Dad's side. He's always been the one doing the right thing. Never offered any trouble. Never, it doesn't say that, it says that, look at all the years been working for you and never disobeyed your, I'm sorry, but ink spilled on here, order. He just said it. I've never disobeyed. I've always been right here. And I've always done what you've asked. I've always done the right thing. And yet you've never given me anything. And so now here we have the son that's mad. And then I think of all the different scenarios that could have happened here. The father could have went back and said, you're right. And he could have went back and took the ring and the coat and the celebration, stopped the celebration, and still could have tremendously affected the lost son in a negative way. But he didn't. But even his response to this other brother is one that still brings out identification to the lost son as a son in right standing with me. And, I love him. He's been gone. He's never lost his place. He still is this. But at the same time, his response to the older brother was, or the other brother was, your place. You've always been right beside me. You're always with me, and everything I have is yours. That's how he responded. You are always with me, and everything I have is yours. So he responds in a way that just lifts up both of his sons. And once again, if you're a parent, or if all of you are children, of somebody, so you've all been there before. How hard is it to have two kids and then say the right thing to one without taking out the other? It's pretty hard. I have two sons that are very close in age, 18 months apart. And they're very competitive for my attention. And, one does something well, and they want me to see it. I have to be careful how I respond to that, because I know what's coming. I know the other one's going to say, well, I did this, or I made this grade, or I've been mowing the lawn while you've been gone all this time. And they both want to kind of outshine. And I always look at that, and then I take the story and I'm going, they make this so hard for me. Why don't they just know that they're both my sons, and they're both equal, and they're both different, but they're both important in my life, and they're both loved just the same. And I haven't always done it right. There's been times where, I've said something that's negative to one to build the other one up. And then go, well, after I am alone and God's come in and talked to me about it a little bit and told me how I needed to go fix it. But I have an opportunity in those situations where I need to be a hero. My little girl, if you ask her, she'll tell you I'm her hero. And the boys, they get kind of, they go, she's your favorite. And I go, no. She's not my favorite. You're all the same, but let me tell you what we're doing. This is why Daddy treats her this way. This is why Daddy does this every time she comes out from in front of the mirror. And if you know Alyssa well enough, you know she spends half her day in front of the mirror. And every time she leaves it, she wants to hear, "You sure are beautiful." And if you don't, she'll pout. And sometimes I don't even realize it. And she's pouting, and I'm going, "What's wrong with you?" And you didn't tell me. You didn't tell me I was beautiful. We have a thing where I say, did anybody, while I'm gone working, I said, did anyone tell you you're beautiful today? And she'll say, no. Who you want to talk to, Braden or Isaac? Because they know they're supposed to pick up my slack while I'm gone. Or I'll call her and I'll tell her. But the children, as children, we need to hear that. They need to hear that. I think the greatest job we have here on earth, if we can't be a hero to our children, I think we let down a whole generation. In each generation, if you can't be a hero to a child. Somebody that inspires me is Amber. All of you know she's our Bible study leader, and she loves everybody, but she does a lot of stuff that you probably don't know about. She offers a lot of her time and stuff like that to coaching. She coaches basketball, girls and boys. Yeah, girls and boys. And she works 2 jobs. She coaches. She does Bible study here on Wednesday. That's a pretty good bit, right? 2 jobs, coaches 2 teams, teaches Bible study here on Wednesday night. How many of you would have time left after all that? Nobody? Exactly. Something else she does, though, she has like 3 boys? 3 boys that you call your sons? 4 boys? 4 boys that she calls her sons. And they all respond to her, as, that way. They know that they're her boys. And somewhere in all that time, in a family where, they could just be left to fend for themselves and have to come up with things and learn on their own and things like that. Just some kids that are put in some tough circumstances sometimes. She comes through and she teaches. She spends time with them. And, and I look at that as a hero. That here she takes her time and she's a hero in these children's lives. They don't even know it yet. They'll look back one day. I'm surely one of them will be a preacher one day. They all have it in them. We just have to turn their words around. Smooth the edges a little bit. And they all have it in them, but surely one day one of them will be standing up front and they'll say, I had a hero in my life. And I'm sure she doesn't know I was going to say that. But this is something I've been thinking about. There's so many heroes around us, and so many opportunities to be a hero, and so many opportunities to make a difference in someone's life. And lots of times we let those moments pass us by. And it could just be saying the right word. As a parent, one thing I hate, and I try not to ever say anything, because I know that I'm not always perfect. But one thing I hate is to hear a parent just tearing into a kid. And, it makes me want to say something. And before Tony started making me count to 5, before I spoke. I normally did say something. And then, then you get the whole backlash thing where God comes in and says, well, hey, you don't do so hot, that spec, 2x4, maybe you should do better. But there's so many opportunities. But that's just one of those things, I'm like, you could be building that kid up instead of tearing that kid down. And you can be a hero in their lives instead of a bully or instead of a, they need so much more from you. Yesterday, Landon and I, all the other kids went shopping, school shopping. And Landon, given the opportunity, said, that's my buddy right there. He was asked, do you want to go shopping or would you like to stay home with Dad? And he said, I'll stay home with Dad. That shopping stuff doesn't sound too fun. I'm gonna have to be quiet, Yeah, I know what's going through his head, even though he doesn't say it out loud. We're sitting there, and I said, this is great. Everybody's gone but Landon. He'll get on his little Game Boy, and he'll play that, and I'll never even know he's here, because he loves that thing, and he'll just get on it. And if you don't stop him, that's what he'll do. He won't even eat. But I said, this is great. It's giving me an opportunity to get ready for today. And do some studying, read some scripture, and think about what I want to say. And so I'm over there trying to do that, and he's playing the game. Hey, Dad, look at this. Daddy, look at this. And we have more than one, so I don't know how it works, but somehow you can play a game. There's a game in this one, and this one connects to it, and you can play the same game. I don't know. That's how it works. My 4-year-old explains this to me. And so he says, play with me. And I'm set, I'm ready to, the paper's out, the book's open, the pen is ready to go, and, I'm ready to do my thing. And I'm like, not right now. And then he didn't say anything immediately. And he's sitting over there playing, and he goes, when Mommy gets home, she'll play with me. Oh, I was like, man, that's horrible. I was like, well, Mommy's not winning today. So I put all this away, and we played a game that truthfully I don't know what I did. I don't know how the game worked. He would always yell at me, Dad, you died again. So most of the game I wasn't even really playing it. My little guy was just blinking. He was invisible, and just for some reason he just keeps going around, but there's nothing I can do. So, but I had a chance there where, and probably if he hadn't said the whole mommy thing, I probably would have just put him off some more. But we ended up just, God told me, he said, you have an opportunity here where you can really spend some time with this little guy. You're gone all week long. He's 4. And Kristen has a lot of people pulling on her all the time. And he needs some attention. And really God said all those things to me. So I was like, okay. So I folded everything up and put it all away. And then I we played some Game Boy together. We played some Xbox 360. We went to the park. That's at the park, down from the house. I had a lot of pictures. We got on a slide. We did some swinging. I taught him how to swing, how to make himself go. I taught him how to swing yesterday. That was enough for the whole day, right? That's being a hero. That's teaching a child something. That's spending some time with him. When I said we're going to go to the park, he's 4. He's been riding his bike for a year without training wheels. So, I just figured he already knew how to do everything. But push me, and he don't understand why I keep stopping. So, let me teach you. I get on. I said, watch what I do with my legs. Daddy, you look funny. I said, yeah, but I'm swinging. So by the end of our time, he was swinging back and forth, back and forth. And he'd say, Daddy, I can get higher than you. And then I got to teach him how to jump off the swing.
Yeah.
He's excellent at it. Did a great job. Just jumped right off, rolled around, tumbled. It was awesome. But I was a hero yesterday. I was a hero in my 4-year-old's eyes. He learned something. I learned a lot. I took time out of my day. And then, you know, Tony and I play this game where I'm gone all week long. So my thing is, Tony's just going to do all the preaching from now on. And as long as I don't say anything, he won't bring it up that he wants me to. So, yeah, I know what the series is, and yeah, I know all this kind of stuff, but I haven't been preparing to do anything. I just figured he's got it. You know, he can do this. Surely he won't ask me because he knows I've been gone. And so we have lunch on Thursday? Thursday. Was it Thursday? Friday, one day. We had lunch last week. And he asked, well, he didn't ask me. He said, you're preaching this Sunday. And I looked at Amber and I said, why don't you do it? She said, he didn't ask. He didn't tell me, he told you. So, I literally went through every person I thought was a hero in this Bible. And I was like, I don't want to, this Sunday's not for that. You know, I could, you know, I do a whole story, then I go, okay, let me pull off. I don't know how anybody else does it. I have a little outline of when I prepare and how I get things ready. But I don't know how, Tony just knows everything. So he just gets up here and he can always preach whenever he's needed. I don't know how anybody else does it, but I actually like to prepare and know what I'm going to say. And I mean, I'm not saying that you don't prepare. You are prepared all the time. But it was just such a struggle. And here it is Saturday afternoon. And I'm like, I got one day. And I've read all the stories in the Bible of heroes. And even tried to pull out the ones, you know, I've looked at all 6, you know, I'm going to be different. That's what I said. I'm going to be different. I'm going to use a woman as a hero. I went through like 16 women in the Bible. And I was like, it just didn't work. It didn't relate. I mean, if you want to, after service today, you want to know about any hero in the Bible, I can tell you them all. Because
We got more weeks coming up.
from Thursday until yesterday, I had read them all. And it's just funny that God set my whole family off shopping, other than me and Landon. And then at a time where I thought I was going to get to prepare, I didn't, because Landon had other things that we were going to do. And we went and did that. And I was able to be what he needed me to be that day. And teach him something and be a hero. And, you know, for him to look at me like that, I mean, is that not just rewarding? You know, to know that I put that on his face, that smile. To know that I made him that happy. To know that I taught him something. And then when I left the park, I'm walking back to the house. It's like 2 houses away from the park. Y'all should all come back over and we'll go down there and play volleyball in the grass instead of the rocks. You know, how about that? We'll just take the volleyball net down there. But walking back, you know, I heard God say to me, yeah, you got your message now. I was like, yep, I did. I went back, drew up a little outline. It was done. And it's just all in a day's work, I guess. All in a day's just knowing, just listening to God, not missing an opportunity to step in and make a difference in someone's life. I mean, to me, that's I wish I was more willing to do that on a daily basis. I'm sure we all do. I'm sure we miss a lot of opportunities. Anybody else agree with that? Well, you did none of you raise any of your hands. Thanks for leaving me all alone. Thanks, Dad. And I think back to my heroes again, the ones that I talked about earlier. Kristen, Jesus came in and saved me. All right, He made the difference in my life. He's the one that said, "This is who you are, and I'm going to pull you out of this place, and I'm going to set you back up here where you belong, and I'm going to clean you up, and we're going to leave some stuff because that's who you are, that's your character, you know. But this is your identity, and it's with me." Jesus did all that work. But He put people in my life. You know, He's put people in all our lives. And when I think about Kristen being a hero in my life, I used to be a people don't understand. I was a horrible person. I didn't like anybody. It was my goal to make somebody hurt every day. Really, that was my goal, to make somebody feel the same way that I did. Wasn't a hero to anyone's life, anyone at all. I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and I said my older son, you know, he's 16, and you know, I think about when he was growing up and what I could have done to make a difference in his life. He loves me, don't get me wrong. You know, I know he loves me and do anything for me. He would, you know, he's at his mom's on the weekends, so that's why you guys don't get to see him a lot. But we were talking the other day, and you know, as I said, you know, he was talking about his son, and I said, you know, I can relate. I said, at a time when I was absent in his life, my dad stepped up and was his hero. And today, you know, that's, you know, they spend more time together than me and him do. I mean, it's just the way it is. I'm okay with it because I know the hero that he was. I know that he's bought him his first gun. He's helped him, you know, with his first truck. He's working with him at his first job. He's doing all these things. He was always there when Dad, and he has no idea where I was at. Well, he probably does. He's never told me he did. But my dad steps up and is a hero in my oldest son's life. You know, I think about these heroes. But back to Kristen, you know, when I was such a horrible person, I really did not have a friend. Can any of y'all relate to that? Not having one friend? Because you run them all off? Really? But I did, and it was Kristen. And things that she would do, you know, the things that she would do was very undeserving, you know, because I didn't treat her any better than I treated anybody else. She left Amy's 13th birthday party. Here's Amy coming into, you know, teenager, 13 years old. They don't know me yet, by the way. Just Kristen's the only one that knows me. They know of me. But here they are, her 13th birthday party. And I make one of my phone calls to say I need a ride because I don't even know where my car's at. So, and she laid it all down and said, Amy, I guess she said, Amy, I love you, happy birthday. And she came pick me up, took me home. And she did that so many times. But it's that constant hero that she was being in my life. Someone that regardless who else it hurt, and I know it hurt sometimes, and I'm sorry. I'm a better person now, right? Yeah. Just the hero that she was in my life, where she never took advantage of a situation, you know, when I was in my state of being. and always. And it got me to a place where I questioned it, and I said, why? How come you won't go away like the rest of them? You know, why won't you just go away? And it's not that way. You know, Jesus never goes away. He's right there beside you the whole time. He's a hero waiting to happen. Well, he's a hero that's already happened, waiting for you to get the picture that he did happen. Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes. Is it tweetable? Huh? Thinking about it? You gotta clean it up. You gotta clean it up a little bit, right? But she just was that person. And then my mom. In scripture in the Bible tells you to love the Lord your God with all your soul, mind, and strength. No. That's not what it says. All your heart. What does it say? Heart, mind, and soul. That's what I wrote down, and I looked at it. I was like, that's not right. It's backwards. And then I said it wrong. My mom was that person. She loved the Lord, her God, that way. But she loved every person that way. And she loved me that way. And that was my hero. You know, her being a hero to me, to love me with everything. You know, I know some of the arguments her and my dad got into sometimes. And, you know, his thing was, let's, you know, not anything bad about that, because there's a time to let us hit rock bottom. But his thing was, let them deal with it themselves. But she's not that. She wasn't going to be that way. You know, and they would fight about it. She won. And she always won. And, you know, she was always there for her kids. Always there for me. You know, and my mom would say, I never knew who you were. I don't know this person that you were talking about. And I was like, I don't believe you. You know, you have no way of not knowing. But that wasn't the thing. She knew the things I did. But the person that I was in her eyes is just like what Jesus sees when he looks at each one of us. He says, you're not that person. You're this person. And she refused to ever believe that I was this horrible person because I was her son. And there's just no way possible that that would happen. And just a hero to me. You know, I still think of her today and a hero. And her example of life and how to love people the same way that she loves God is just, and Amy said something during worship today where, you know, I remember when my mom passed away, the very next Sunday, you know, I'm up here, and it clicked with me while I'm out there worshiping. You know, this is the first time, you know, she's worshiping up there, and I'm worshiping down here. And that is an amazing, it's amazing feeling to think that, to know what's happening. It is. And then I think of my dad. And as a kid, what I needed to hear most was that anybody loved me, you know. And when that didn't happen is when I started, you know, just wanted everybody to feel the same way I did. And it really took a while for the whole transition to happen of new dad in my life, other dad, I don't know. Just a real fuzzy time and a time of separation and divorce. And I knew what I wanted to hear from my dad. I knew what I wanted to hear from both of them, and I never got it. Not saying that not good things ever happened, because they did. You know, we spent time together, we did stuff. You know, I watched him beat up a security officer in the parking lot because he was mad because he was speeding. It was my birthday, and it's my son's birthday. you know, there's those things, and they were all cool. I made some of that up. But, I don't think security officer got out of his car, so that's probably a good thing. But how do I say this? He's becoming a hero to me more and more every day. One thing, because now I used to work for him before, and that didn't go so well. And now I'm working for him again. He's like my direct boss. So, you know, you have certain ways you're supposed to answer your phone. It's a company phone. You're supposed to, you know, this is Benchmark, or that's the name of my company I work for. And this is Chris speaking. How can I help you? Blah, blah, blah. I never answer the phone that way, unless I know that it's somebody I better do. And he's supposed to do the same thing. But every time I call, first words out of his mouth every time is, "Hey, son." And he has no idea the difference that those two words make in my life on a daily basis. Because for so many years, I wanted to hear those words, "Hey, son." He called me son. You know, that was just like, you know. And then he's now, you know, he tells me, you know, I don't have any money, so I don't know what he wants, but he tells me a lot, you know, how proud he is, and it's all the time. And I'm like, if you only knew. But he's always telling me, you know, I'm so proud of, you know, I'm proud of your family, I'm proud of your children, I'm proud of you and the dad you are, and proud of what you get up and do on Sundays. You know, he says all these things to me, and I'm like, you know, and now it's odd to me, because, you know, there's so many years you wanted to hear it, and now all of a sudden you hear it, and it just kind of like, it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling. But he's now in a time where, I guess, you know, a parent passes away, and then he has stepped up and he said, you know what? I'm going to be a hero. I'm 38 years old. Do I need a hero? I'm 28 years old. Do I need a hero? I said that wrong. But yes, I still need a hero today. There's still times where I need a hero. I need a hero. And my dad is that every day. Every day. Hey, son. And at least once or twice a week, he tells me how proud I am. But he sees those opportunities. Am I allowed to share? The two of you? I am allowed to share? I was going to ask you earlier, but I forgot. So, well, I'm going to share. My dad and Bet have set a date. They plan to wed on October the 20th, which is really soon.
Yeah.
And I've never been more happy. You know, I know at a time where both were hurt, both were hurting, both have went through a tremendous time in their lives of battle after battle, after fight, after getting a beating, after, you know, just so much. And the way that God come in and pulled them together, and the way that she's a hero to him, and the way that he is a hero to her, just overwhelms me on a daily basis. I talked to Bet yesterday on the phone Friday, Thursday, one day, for about 20 minutes. And all she does is talk about it. I'm like, none of it was true. You know, it's always the same thing. He's such a good man. He's just, you know, and she talks about, you know, their prayer life together, how they pray about things. And it's just so encouraging to hear that. And you know, continuously, just every day, it's like, wow, he's a hero all over again to me. But I know he is to her. You know, it's her knight in shining armor has come in and swept her off her feet. She says he opens the door for me. He fusses at me if I don't let him. He holds my hand. You know, I was standing back during worship and just kind of, yeah, I was looking at all of you. I was. They're just sitting there holding hands, you know, and they hold hands back here and got this enough. I'm like, you know, but so many opportunities. And today it's my prayer that we see our opportunities, that we seize our opportunities, and to be a hero in somebody's life. Because literally we're all going to walk out the door today. You are. And I guarantee each of you, each person in this room is going to have an opportunity before the day's end to be a hero in someone's life. And you have a choice to make. You either can be or you can't be. And it's all the character of Christ. You know, the only reason you're compassionate is because He is. The only reason you love is because He does. The only reason you have this need to save somebody is because He's the ultimate Savior. And it's in you. And that's why you want to do it. The only reason you want to be a hero in someone's life. I have one more person I want to talk about. Just quickly. And he's probably going to run out the door as I start talking about him because I don't know. Zachary. Mr. White. Is the kid not anointed?
Yes,
Or
he
what?
is. Yes, he is.
Is that not just, you know, beautiful? It really is. And, you know, I look at, because you're all young, I mean, Amy knows it's her calling to be up here and lead worship. Amy knows. So Amy knows she's anointed to do what she's doing. Then I look at these other guys and girls and I go, you know, do they know yet? And I'm not up here speaking prophecies or whatever. But dude, you're anointed. You're anointed in what you're standing up here doing, and I don't know if you know it. And the way that you usher us into worship as a team, all of you, but I am talking about Zach right now. I love the rest of you too. But I just see it. Standing back there today, I just saw it, you know. And you know, today, it's going to be weird, I'm going to say this, but today you were a hero. You know, today, I could tell a difference in just a matter of weeks of how you're letting the anointing flow through you instead of being hesitant into making sure everything is played the right way. And today, you just let God work through you. And today, you're a hero in everyone in this room's life because you ushered us all into worship by letting God just flow through you. Thank you. Thank you for being my hero today. Do you see what I'm talking about? It's not really that hard. We all have that opportunity. Let God use you. The things that He's put inside of you, the things that are just natural in you because He is in you, the compassion, the love, the wanting to save somebody, the wanting to do good for somebody. Don't hold back on those things. Because you never know how bad somebody needed a hero today. You never know. And especially your children. Or children in general. You know, you can always make a difference. Because you never know what child's not getting that attention at home. You never know what child needed you to say to them, "You sure are beautiful today." Because their dad hasn't been home or a part of their lives in a year. And they don't hear it. You never know what difference you can make by saying, you know, "You sure are beautiful. You sure are talented." Be a hero. right? That's why we're all here.